Today's 49ers update is going to be very special as we welcome Tracy Sandler, founder and CEO of Fangirl Sports Network and 49ers beat reporter for FGSN. Tracy brings fans the latest news and behind-the-scenes content for the 49ers and is a passionate advocate for female sports fans. Join us as we learn more about her and her journey, explore the broader landscape of sports media, and of course, talk a little bit about the 49ers. Tracy, welcome to Crave. We're so excited to have you on.
Hi, Tracy.
Our first question for you is, what inspired you to start Fangirl Sports Network, and how has it evolved since its inception?
Well, I wanted to create a place for female fans to be whatever kind of sports fan they wanted to be. The women who like the lifestyle aspect of sports, women who like the news and analysis aspect, women who liked both. And I just didn't feel at the time that there was much content that spoke directly to female fans. So I wanted to create that. And so that was the beginning of it. It's evolved quite a bit for a while. Well, I'll start with first, it was just 49ers Fangirl. And then we had the AFC and NFC West. And then we had Fangirls for every team. And frankly, that model just didn't work. It didn't work how I'd envisioned it working. It worked for a few teams, but not every team. And so in 2020, I made the decision to do away with that model, which wasn't easy because it was kind of how I dreamt it up to begin with. But I made the decision to do away with that model and really focus on the Fangirl Sports Network content, because that content was working really well. And that our followers and readers and subscribers, well, not subscribers, but followers, readers, podcast listeners, they were really responding to that content. So that became the focus. I, of course, still cover the 49ers as a beat reporter, but that was kind of the beginning and then to where we are today. And I would say in the last couple of years, we've really just hit our stride, and it's going really well.
No, I love it. I follow you guys on Instagram, and I feel like I get most of my kind of updates from Fangirl Sports Network, not just with the 49ers, but all kinds of sports, even sports that I don't really follow thoroughly. I kind of have a sense of what's going on, so it's amazing. I just have to tell you that.
Oh, thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, another question. You mentioned that you're a 49ers beat reporter.
Yes.
What has been your most memorable experience covering the team? Or can you share a behind-the-scenes story from like a 49ers game or practice that stands out to you?
Well, I would have to say, and I don't want it to sound super cliche, but probably my most memorable has been covering 2 Super Bowls. And I think they're each memorable in their own way. You know, the first one is the first one I ever covered. The 49ers is my first professional sports beat, first and only professional sports beat. So there was a lot of new going into it from the get-go. And so covering my first Super Bowl was fascinating because it just was different than anything else I'd done. And it is different than covering a regular season game or even a playoff game. And I know everyone likes to say, well, it's just another game. It's not. It's the Super Bowl. So the rules are different. You know, all of it, just in terms of like where we are and all of that is different. So the first one was incredible because like I woke up that morning and I was like, wow, I built this company from nothing and from scratch, and I am covering the Super Bowl today. And that felt really amazing. Fast forward to this past Super Bowl was even more so because now I felt like I'd done it. And I knew a little bit more what to expect, which meant I could get a little bit more into the details of it. I understood how to pace myself during the week, how to do content during the week, how to balance the fangirl side. That was a lot of press and sponsorships and that side of it. And then the 49ers side. And I understood that, you know what, when you're covering a team in the Super Bowl, even in Las Vegas, you can't be out all night, every night, going to all the parties and everything. It's a very long day of work. And then day of was absolutely incredible. And getting to be there, being in the main press box, and it was really an incredible experience.
Also, I wanted to ask, because I'm so curious about this, I always see you talking to like Jake Moody and Ronnie Bell, and I know they're from Michigan, and I know you have that connection with them, but how do you approach building those relationships with players and coaches to get that kind of insight for your reporting?
Well, with Jake and Ronnie, it was great because they got drafted the same draft class, and Michigan was going into its national championship year, and I had this idea going into the season of doing something called predictable picks and having them pick every week, about the Michigan game, who was going to win. And so I started with them. We had done 5 fun facts together in rookie mini camp, and it kind of got to know them. So I came to them at the beginning of the season, came up with this idea. They loved it. So that's really how we built that. But over time, you build relationships by building trust, and you build relationships by doing good work. And you build relationships by, this is going to sound silly, building actual relationships, to not just talking to someone when you need something. So, over the years, I've been covering George Kittle since he was a rookie. So over the years, there's been a trust built. Same with Nick Bosa, same with Deebo Samuel, same with Brock Purdy. There's a trust built over time, and not every conversation is to be reported. Not every conversation is work related. You want to build trust with people, and that's the best way to do it. And so Predictable Picks has been great, and we've had multiple players come on as guest pickers, and it's become kind of a fun thing in the locker room. And then, with Niners Unplugged and the stuff that I do with that's built relationships over time. And I think they know they can trust me, and then we can do these fun questions and create these fun videos. And it's something for them to talk about that's not just football related and shows another side of them. But the biggest part of building relationships is building trust. And as in any relationship, not going to someone just when you need something.
Exactly. How do you see the role of social media changing the landscape of sport reporting right now?
Well, I think it's, positives and minuses. But I think on the positive side, social media creates a place where anyone who wants to do this can kind of just start doing it and getting reps for themselves. You could start an Instagram account if you want to be a sports reporter and you feel like you need reps and you're putting things out there and you're not getting anything back. You can go start an Instagram channel, and you can go to a high school football game, and after the game, set yourself up and report on it, or the next day, or practice, or you can do Instagram lives, Instagram and reels, videos previewing any game, any sport that you're in. And so social media has certainly created a place where we can do the things that we want to do. It gives us a platform, even if one does not have a large platform to begin with. Right. It gives us a platform, and we've seen it work for so many creators and so many journalists. And that, I think, is the very positive side of social media. And that's, one of the benefits. It's TikTok, it's Instagram. There's so many things that you can do to create your platform and solidify yourself in the sports industry.
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, another question I have, because you mentioned, how do you balance the demands of being a beat reporter, especially at this time with the 49ers season, and then also being the CEO of Fangirl Sports Network?
Well, I have an incredible team at Fangirl Sports Network, because obviously I certainly wouldn't be able to do all of it on my own. So I have an incredible team at Fangirl, Kelsey and Bailey, who really run that side of it in terms of the day-to-day. I'm obviously very involved. We talk a lot about the overarching content, what it's going to look like, what are our series, and we get that going. But they've been with me a very long time, so I trust them, and I'm able to really let them do what they do. If there's a question, if there's a concern, obviously we all talk about it together, but they really are integral to the fangirl side of things, and they're amazing because, yes, especially at this time of year, a beat reporter is a full-time job. So there's a lot going on. So that is really balancing it with an incredible team that I trust and letting them do their thing. And that's one of the hardest things to do, of course, when you create a company and you're proud of the company, is letting the people who you've brought on to really run that side of things do it. But they do an incredible job, and without them it would be very difficult.
Okay, what advice would you give to aspiring sports journalists, especially women that are looking to break into the field?
Well, the number one thing is you let your work speak for itself. If you do good work and you're meticulous in your research and your reporting, then you let it speak for yourself. And kind of going back to what we said before, just start doing it. You know, not everyone has that personality. But if you're going to be a sports reporter and you're going to be in this world, you do kind of have to have the personality and the confidence to, going back to the other thing we said earlier, to be able to go up to a player or a coach and introduce yourself and get to know them, and again, let your work speak for itself. And from the social media side, you can just start doing it. You can start a podcast. You can start talking about games. Every Sunday at 5 o'clock p.m., you could say, all right, I'm going to review the day's games and preview the Sunday night game and do it that way. But get started and not waiting for the right time. And then the other huge one, of course, is be open to opportunities. You never want to do something that you absolutely don't want to do, but don't be so tunnel vision that when an opportunity comes your way that you say no to it, because you also don't know where things lead, and you don't know who you'll meet and how you'll grow and what you'll learn. So being open is so important in this industry.
Okay, another one that I have, because I always see, I think you come up with the best things on social media that are just very engaging. And so how do you kind of stay current with the latest trends and developments of like social media and integrating it with sports journalism?
Well, I think you got to be on social media, which I do try to limit. I don't want to overdo that. So I do try to limit that, but I try to keep an eye on trends. I keep an eye on what's going on TikTok, what's going on on Instagram Reels. Bailey on my team, who I mentioned before, that's part of her job, and she helps so much in keeping me on trend and on topic and kind of knowing what is hot out there. So that's been super helpful.
Our final question for today is, here at Crave, we love talking about our passions. So besides your career, what's another passion of yours?
My dogs are a big passion of mine. My family, my nieces and nephews. I'm a huge music fan. I think that's something that maybe people don't know as much. I'm obviously a diehard Dodger fan, diehard Michigan fan, but I love music. I'm a foodie, so I love trying new restaurants and trying new dishes. For the most part, I'm pretty adventurous with food. There are certain things where they're a non-starter. But I am, for the most part, pretty adventurous with food, and I love to travel. And the last few years, I've been really lucky to go to some incredible and beautiful places. So those are a few of my other passions. But yeah, I do love travel. And the travel and the foodiness go very well together. Yeah. So I get to combine those. So this last summer, I was in the south of France, which was amazing. I'd never been there. It's beautiful. The food was just unbelievable. So yeah, those are some of my other passions.
But
thank you.
Thank you so much for coming on today, Tracy. I have so many more questions. I would love to have you on again. We have to work out a time that you're available. Yeah, that's awesome.
Yes, absolutely. I would love to come back.